Specifically, your equipment upgrades is what I'm referring to. Let's get the danger down. My concern is that if I throw in a factory, it's probably going to ramp the danger up a lot. So we can afford it. We have the worker. What does that give us? I don't know, but I'm hoping it's gold, because that's what I need right now. Why not? They don't seem to be coming at us just yet. What? Finish taking this stuff. There's the horde. Again, the dog's going to be the big problem. We can circle strafe and keep the regular zombies aggroed. But the dogs are going to keep finding a way to slip through the cracks. Good, looks like we got a dog body blocking over there. Damn it, it uncorked. Ah, great. Harder, tougher zombies are starting to get involved, and I'm almost dead. It seems like we have limited hordes again, like Decision Medieval. Thank the developers for small favors. This horde was endless like in the old days. There's no way we could have pulled this off. My weaponry is garbage. And I can't afford to spend resources on that. I need to spend it on infrastructure. I don't know, maybe the difficulty slider's to blame. More effort, less reward, never a good combination. Still don't have sprint. In fact, I'm not even sure if that was unlocked with the master I did find. Didn't I see a stock? Where is it? Now we find out the amount that the danger is going to jump, as well as how much additional danger we're going to be accruing as a result of this factory capture. Still, this might be our beachhead towards sort of passive productivity. We don't know. That's inconvenient. So we're up to +6. Factory added 4. And we have another full-on attack. Only 50 a day? I'm not even getting the full amount because of the threat. I mean, when I... What are the guards? Wipe out 3 additional? So, oh, boy. I would love to add an addition to this tower, but A, I don't think I can afford it. B, that's going to lead to the area getting hit by hordes more often, which is not quite what we want, as you can imagine. You're gonna shoot where I'm aiming, perhaps. Oh, that was a well-placed barrel. Actually, why don't we have more passive booby traps? Alright, now we need more guards. I did a bit of recruiting. And I can afford it, but only just. I don't know what I'm going to do after I make that upgrade because I'm going to be out of money. Again. And the accumulation rate is kind of pathetic. I mean, here we're nice and neutrally threat level. We can get this productive in like a low threat accumulation. That'd be good, but it's probably going to require another tower upgrade. Not hilariously expensive, but after I'm done with the factory, I'm not going to be able to afford it. Or, not the factory. I just did the factory. No, after I'm done with the shelter, I'm not going to be able to afford it. Well, they're doing some work. Tell you what, I've thought of something to talk about. It is no secret that I am a nerd. And in addition to being a nerd, I am also a gun nerd. I actually called out the fact that the Enfield in this game actually has the appropriate magazine size now, whereas in Decision 2 it didn't have the right magazine size, it was short. But we've sort of covered the Enfield, more or less. But we have a submachine gun now, and the submachine gun is a new category of weapon here, so let's talk about what we're using. Now, from the image, that looks like an MP5. And I mean, everybody knows about the MP5, but the interesting part is that the MP5 is part of a pretty diverse family of firearms that in the West is not we're not super familiar with it. Because, of course, we get all of our domestic manufacturers, we get a lot of stuff from, like, Belgium and, you know. I do like that there are companion commands. Now, I don't remember if those were in Medieval. I don't think they were. Little upgrades. So the MP5's origins, as with a lot of modern firearms, to be fair, is in World War II, because World War I might have been the marriage of industry and arms, but World War II was the honeymoon. That's when a lot of the principles that had been conceived of in World War I actually saw practical application. And one of the issues, of course, was that the Germans, in their efforts, did not want things to go the way they did in World War I, because, as you can imagine, World War I didn't end well for them. And the issue there was that we had this newfangled piece of technology. We had the machine gun. And compared to some of the volley guns and the Gatling guns of previous eras, which were manually operated, somebody had to actually turn a crank. Machine guns, so long as they were supplied with ammunition, and barring component failures, would operate continuously. That was the theory. The theory behind machine gun design was, it's got ammo, and ultimately, because of heat, because that is an issue, water, as long as you can keep feeding the gun, it should keep dishing out death. The problem, of course, was that they were big, and they were clumpy. Clumpy. They were big, and they were clumsy. Okay, I only got a reduction of 2 threat. That's as bad as it was before. And there's nothing I can do about it, because I can't afford the 10 grand for a shelter level 3, and I can't afford... Well, no, I could afford that, technically. I could even afford that. What the hell? Oh, and then there's upkeep we have to deal with. Actually, I think our factory right now is literally just managing our upkeep problem. So, I think the concept that would be most notoriably used by the Germans during World War II actually was originally conceived by a French commander. I know that, like, the French military's a bit of a joke, or at least it has been in the latter half of the last century. But in actuality, there was a time prior to World War I when the French were sort of at the forefront of arms. We get a zombie with a gun. I can literally do nothing. If I poke my head out, I'm dead. Oh, that... I'm sorry, we failed to protect the factory? That wasn't a factory mission. This is the tower. The fuck? Second level of the tower, we already got enemies spawning in with guns. I haven't upgraded my stamina. I can't really afford to... Oh, great! They also specifically spawn in where you're not. In case it wasn't difficult enough. Okay, soldiers, your one job is to hold the line. And you already fucked it. That burning... Getting body blocked by generic zombies, that burning ghoul's gonna blow up in my face. Don't think we can manage a level 2 upgrade on that tower, which means we're just gonna have to live with the +4 for a while. We'll have to periodically clean it out. We don't have another choice. Which brings us to this zone, which means that while this is steadily accruing 5 danger per thing, we now have to deal with this. Well, it's not like we have much choice. That's clearly more firepower on the defense than we can handle right now. I need a proper assault rifle, or just... Honestly, with like a maxed out sniper rifle, I could probably do some damage, but there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to afford that. This is my point. I mean, it's a struggle to maintain things as they are. I'm not even making progress right now. That is a problem.
Hey there.
Nope, I can't tell him to stay put. Genius. Oh, they're dead. He's not. Oh, the Enfield is even accurately reflected as being fast-firing, because it is one of the fastest bolt actions to operate. Anyway, rather than carrying on complaining about how this game is doing everything in its power to slow things down, because it is, I'm going to carry on with what I was talking about,
Glad you came.
warfare and guns. So... Blitzkrieg, as the Germans coined it, or lightning war, was the notion of getting the enemy on the defensive constantly through basically an unceasing attack, an unceasing advance. Because traditionally, you would lay siege to a position, and then you would work to clear all enemies out of the position, because you didn't want, like, ambushes or enemies coming up in the rear or stuff like that. However, Blitzkrieg changed that. Now, your frontline forces were supposed to be fast and aggressive, and you would have rear echelon troops that would come in after they had already breached the lines, and the rear echelon troops were responsible for mop-up duty. Basically, if there's any, like, enemies left in the area, your job is to kill them. Their defenses have been broken, they're going to be disorganized. Take every advantage of that as you can. And the idea was it would prevent the fight from bogging down like it had in the First World War, where people started building trenches and then they're stuck in them for, 3 years, trying to find some technical solution or tactic that might break them free. And of course, again, that was because of machine guns, because machine guns, as I was saying, were big and heavy, and they weren't mobile, which means that they were fine on the defensive, sure, but on the assault, you really couldn't carry one in a configuration where it could be used. So, the issue with this new Blitzkrieg tactic was the fact that fighting was no longer isolated by design, usually by the defenders, to locations that were open. It was usually placed, quite deliberately, in places where there was nothing going on. You didn't have civilian housing, you didn't have factories, because you didn't want fights to happen there. Generally, if a fight happened there, you'd already lost. So, the notion became, that with Blitzkrieg warfare, the defenders no longer had the luxury of choosing where they defended, and as such, fights tended to drift into areas that were more naturally defensible for the attackers, sort of improvised defensive positions. And as it so happens, that was frequently urban environments. Oh, hey, a ranger. I don't know if I can recruit him.
Want me to get out of here?
Can I recruit you?
Good to see you.
Well, no, you go to the camp. I'm honestly concerned about having the ranger follow me, because he could die before I can... We still have grand and enemies, and my abilities are kind of shit right now. So the issue was you had a lot of this fighting in urban or suburban, basically domiciles, houses, stuff like that. Now, previously, you wanted soldiers trained in precision, and you wanted weapons that could strike the enemy at a significant range. So, rifles, bolt-action rifles. They were kind of state-of-the-art for personal arms at the time. And then, of course, in the First World War, when it came to clearing trenches, it turned out that submachine guns were great for that purpose, because, yeah, we had the shotgun, the trench broom, as it were, but a submachine gun's a lot better for that role. The thing is, a submachine gun accomplished automatic firepower in a controllable compact package, something that couldn't be used for larger calibers at the time because of metallurgical developments that needed to happen, and manufacturing developments that needed to happen. And the idea became... okay, so our rifles can hit targets at incredible distances. However, they fire slowly, and they have small magazines. A submachine gun can, dole out a lot of firepower, but it's a pistol caliber weapon. It can't reliably hit or kill targets at extreme ranges. So, once again, as with the Germans coming up with the sort of middle ground of machine guns, the general purpose machine gun that could fulfill a heavy machine gun role if it was feeding from a box and tripod mounted, or it could serve the light machine gun role if it was on its bipod or shoulder fired. The Germans also sort of pioneered the assault rifle.
Glad you came.
And again, it started as this thing of, like, okay, we don't necessarily need the full range of a rifle, but at the same time we need more range and the automatic firing capability of a...
Can I help you? Something has to be done.
we're out of space. So we need something with the automatic firing capability of a submachine gun, but it has to have the range more comparable to, but not as far as, a bolt-action rifle. And the idea of the submachine gun, or not the, no, you can tell I'm not 100% my brain to work. The concept gave rise to what was originally called the Machine Gun Carbiner 42. And to some extent that name is quite accurate for what the idea was at the time, because Maschinen means machine, and it was usually the prefix for submachine guns in Germany. Like, the reason the MP5 is the MP5 is Maschinen Pistol. You know, machine pistol. As in machine gun, pistol caliber. We here in the West, of course, adopted the nomenclature of submachine gun, as in sub, below, reduced machine gun. And the carbiner aspect came from the fact that it was going to have a longer barrel and be firing a more powerful cartridge, like a foreshortened rifle, which is known as a carbine. So the German name was quite literal, like it is for submachine guns with, you know, Maschinen Pistol. And the Machine Gun Carbiner was fine, but like a submachine gun, it fired from an open bolt, and there were accuracy concerns with that, because you've got the bolt slamming forward just prior to the bullet firing, and that can throw off your aim for precision shots at range, which is one of the things the weapon was designed to be able to enable. And so that led to the creation of another weapon, which for a long time was known as the MP44? Now, the way the story goes, at least as I have heard it, was that the company who designed it, which I believe was Heinel, basically showed the weapon to the leader of Germany at the time, which was Adolf Hitler, nasty man. And I'm going to have to do like a defense of these guys. I'm hoping I don't have to do a defense of these guys, because all of these guys will be in jeopardy if I do. Pause my...
I'm relying on your help.
Fuck off with that. If I could just pop some of the burning ghouls. Probably about to lose an engine. Yep, I just lost the builder. Fucking finally. Well, we got a builder casualty. Yeah, fuck you too, buddy. Defend your own shit.
Tell me to get out of here. Something has to be done.
Good, you can replace our losses. Unfortunately, for some reason, we can't integrate you into the team now because the game seems to think we still have a guy, even though he just got his guts splattered out during a zombie horde rush that nobody asked for. The thing is, I believe Adolf served as, like, a junior officer, NCO, I don't know the details of that, during World War I, and, as was typical of the man, very egotistical, felt that he knew exactly what it was that, like, a soldier needed, and felt that a soldier needs his rifle, his long gun, because in World War I that was the thing. Not that Hitler had any idea what was actually happening on the front, trying to balance his political agendas, his, you know, whack job, cartoonly evil group of, you know, commanders and officers. And when they approached him with this new weapon, because it's like, look, the soldiers need something that can operate between a submachine gun and a bolt-action rifle that is automatic, but accurate, etc., and we made one. And his response was like, yeah, but now you want to use this new caliber that we need to manufacture and we don't have surplus, we're tight on cash, and you want to do it on an untested weapon when our soldiers are doing fine, at least in his mind, with, like, bolt-action rifles, which we have generously surplused, and submachine guns, which we're already manufacturing. So he gave them a big thanks, but no thanks. This was dumb.